Okay, we're live, Hank.
We
I
did
don't
it.
think anybody's watching us, but we're live.
Gotta go to the other
Yep.
one. I'm clicking on the other
Sorry,
one so that I can be there now.
sorry
Oh, there's
everyone for the
63 people, John. They've
confusion.
they've come to they've come on over. That's good.
Okay, I'm very sorry for the confusion about all of that. Hank, how are you doing? We were just talking about politics, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about literally anything else.
I'm good, John. I feel good. I feel a little bit wiped. Oren had his first pukey disease.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yesterday, 2 days ago. It's a little bit blurry because it was very sad and he was up very late. And so I was also up very late. There's
I
nothing
can
sadder than a
imagine. That
really
sounds brutal.
sleepy baby who can't sleep because they have to throw up.
Mustard Fire said, "Is that an AFC Wimbledon shirt?" It is. It is an AFC Wimbledon shirt. I am also doing only okay. It's just kind of a bad mental health period mostly. But also, today is both Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday, which happens occasionally, but it's a great inconvenience to me because Ash Wednesday is my favorite holiday, maybe second favorite holiday out of the whole year, and Valentine's Day is my least favorite. So I'm torn in two directions. I have this great
Mm.
holiday where I get to be reminded that came from ashes, and to ashes I shall return. And then I have this horrible holiday which venerates this very specific kind and narrow kind of love. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
I'm torn.
I feel like so I agree that Valentine's Day is like okay, but
Oh,
like you
nobody is.
can't
By the way, nobody
don't
has.
super hard. I don't I
Go
don't
on.
I don't feel the need to like harsh on the Valentine's groove. If you're into Valentine's Day, that's
Oh,
fine.
I'm not criticizing other people's Valentine's Day experiences at all. I'm saying it's not my kind of holiday. Like other people don't like
Mhm.
Ash Wednesday, which is fine. I don't think that they're wrong or anything. I just think I'm an Ash Wednesday person and
Yeah. You know the thing that I don't like about Valentine's Day, like the primary thing, is that when I was in child school,
yeah.
as a child, they make everybody give Valentines to each other, but the Valentine's packs are all a little bit over what I would sort of would want to give to a classmate. There's like five of them. You like get there's like five different designs, and there's like eight of each design, and
Yeah.
one of the designs is like we're buds, and then the other four are like, will you be my Valentine? I choose you. No, I can't. Like 80% of these people are not people that I want to express that level of affection for. I'm 10.
Yeah.
That's
I asked
that
Henry
was
about
a
this.
very stressful experience for me as a young person.
I asked Henry about this yesterday. I said, "Is anybody like talking about having a specific Valentine's for Valentine's Day?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, Charlotte." And I was like,
Oh.
"Well, what's going on?" And he was like, "Charlotte is going to give Ben a hug tomorrow."
Oh, whoa.
And I was like, "How do you know this?" And he was like, "Because Lucas and I spied on her
I
and
suppose.
Maya and Anna talking about it." And I was like, "God, you have this rich inner life that I know nothing about." And I was like, "Are you gonna have a Valentine?" And like when we've been reading Harry Potter, like when Harry Potter kisses Cho Chang, like Henry no longer gets upset about any of the scary parts of Harry Potter, but like when they were underneath the mistletoe, he was squirming, and then at one point he covered his ears and he was just like ah ga 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 ga, like he cannot handle any kind of romantic interaction. He finds it so gross.
it's
I love
just
it.
a level of intensity that
Yeah,
we don't
it's
why
like
we
there's
don't
this
need
emotional
this.
intensity to it that he just thinks is just completely inappropriate.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I also so it's Ash Wednesday, Valentine's Day, and the Olympics. There's too much going on, John. I know nothing about Ash Wednesday except that apparently it has something to do with recognizing your inevitable demise.
It's the beginning of
But
Lent. So
okay,
you have this 40-day-ish period of Lent,
40 days. Okay.
and then you have Easter. Well, then you have Good Friday, which is my favorite of the holidays, which is when Jesus died, and then you have the sort of vigil Holy Saturday,
Mhm.
etc. And then you have Easter. And Easter is great. I like this whole season in terms of the liturgical calendar a lot. It's my favorite part. Zach asks,
Right.
what are your thoughts on public ashes to go? I've never heard of public ashes to go, but is that where like somebody stands on the street corner with some ashes and you don't have to go to church and they just say ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and then you just go about your day? Or is that a question about the whole like once you leave? There's a big debate among Episcopalians and Catholics, and maybe people in other denominations, about whether you leave the ashes on after you go to Ash Wednesday service. I wipe them off immediately because not because I'm embarrassed, but because I think it's like I don't know. It just seems ostentatious to me. It seems like almost like an attack on other people. Like I saw somebody giving a speech to Congress today with the ashes on, and I was like, we all know you could have gone to church at 5 p.m. and like not been
Mhm.
bragging on national TV about how Ash Wednesday your day was. But anyway, that's slightly off topic.
Okay. Have you been watching the Olympics though, John?
Oh my God, of course. I watch the Olympics all the time, every day, all day.
How all day, every day?
I mean,
What have you been watching?
I watch several hours of Olympics every day.
I do too. I usually they are the evening hours during the sort of prime time Olympics. I had a really sort of great. There was a great moment during the snowboarding last night when all the very professional snowboarders are in prime time television and they're about to do amazing things. And this Japanese snowboarder who ended up laying down a sick run, John, stood up at the top of the hill for like I don't know about a minute after they told him he could go. That like it was prime time TV,
Yeah.
and this guy was at the top of the hill, and he was like, "I'm not gonna go until it feels right," and he just stood there, and I
Well,
liked that so much that
yeah. I mean, to be
there was this
clear,
sort of like unscheduledness to it that it was like we're going to do it at the pace of these athletes and like
right.
that this is
Well,
live content. So, yep.
yeah, I just want to say though that to be clear, he waited not because um, he was, trying to get into a deeply relaxed state or anything. He waited because of the wind.
They were saying it was the wind. But yes, I agree that he maybe was waiting because of the wind. The people on the commentators were like, it doesn't seem to be extra windy if he's waiting on the wind. I think, regardless of whether he was waiting on the wind, I liked that we had that we had to sort of like collectively sit there as a nation, as a whole world while this
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
Just
I thought.
because
I mean,
that.
I love those moments. I love the live TV ness of the Olympics.
Mhm.
It does lead to some terrible, stupid commentary sometimes, but I love it anyway. And I mean, the thing about the Olympics and me, Hank, is that I can watch. I am equally invested in every single Olympic discipline. So I
Yeah.
feel the exact same way watching the 15-kilometer cross country race as I do watching Shaun White try to win the gold in snowboarding. And maybe I'm not nationalistic enough. Like I was psyched that, like I'm always happy when America wins a gold medal, but uh, when it's coming down between a Norwegian and a Swede, and these two women have put everything into this moment, and they're coming down just neck and neck on the cross country track after like an hour and a half of skiing, and they're still together. Like the intensity of that is incredible, and I don't have a rooting interest. I'm not
Right.
totally confident that I know where Norway and Sweden are in relationship to each other. I know where Finland is. Um, but it's just an incredible the joy of it, the heartbreak of it, the like what facial expression do you put on for the cameras when you find out that you finished fourth? All of that is just it's
Mhm.
just magical. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the Olympics. God, I mean, it, why can't it all like why can't we always look at the world and think of each other the way the Olympics makes me look at the world and think of each other. And I know that the Olympics is super crazy corrupt and that they went to Sochi, Russia because Vladimir Putin lined their pockets with billions of dollars. I know, but still, it's just magical. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a yeah, I like that it's every 4 years, but also that it's every 2 years. So they like found this way to make it every 2 years by having a winter one. And
Yes.
I like that like it makes it very eventized and makes like a thing that I and like there's a part of me that thinks like I'm too jaded to like this, or like I have there's so much stuff to consume, so much content that's wonderful, and that I should be watching something else. But with like I have an antenna and I get one TV station with this antenna, and it comes in like super HD. I get NBC, and so it's like extraordinarily lucky for me that I get the one channel that has the Olympics on it. Um,
Yeah.
because in the end, I just want to turn on the TV at the end of the day and know that like for 2 weeks I can watch, you know, exceptional or like no, kind of normal people doing exceptional things, and also sort of feel connected more broadly in a
Yeah.
way. And I get really sort of like angry when people come at me with like reasons why the Olympics sucks, even if they're valid, like that, you know, they're corrupt and they went to Russia because of Putin, or because like everybody knows that there's a bunch of snowboarding events just to pad the US's medal counts or whatever. And I'm just like, I like, no, stop. Don't
Yeah,
cease,
let's just enjoy
cease.
it.
I just want to feel good about something.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. And I'm going to feel the same way about the World Cup this summer, with the slight caveat that the nation I live in won't be participating. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to try to turn that negative into a positive by, I don't know, moving to a different country. I haven't decided yet. Uh,
Yeah, is there a
I'm
special
devastated.
deal where like an American can just become a citizen just for the World Cup of a different country?
One of the best worst days of my life was the day that Turtles All the Way Down came out, because it was so, as I'm sure you remember, Hank, it was a day of pressure the likes of which I had never felt before. And because of the embargo and everything, there had been no reviews and almost no one had read the book. And then all of a sudden on October 10th, we had to do this big event at Town Hall in New York City, and also there were lots of reviews, and it really could have gone like a lot of different ways, and the way that it happened to go was very good, because the New York Times happened to like the book a lot and the Wall Street Journal liked the book. It was just like a huge relief.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had an awesome time at Town Hall, and we didn't even mess up our show really, even though it was the first time we were doing it, and we always mess up, and it was just an amazing. And I was crying when I got back to the hotel with Sarah, just because we'd been through this really rough thing together of writing the book, and how hard it was, for both of us, really, the process of getting that book out. And and then I got a text from Chris that said the US didn't qualify for the World Cup, and I was like, God, now it's the worst day ever. How do you not beat Trinidad and Tobago? God. Anyway.
Some people in the chat were talking about the Marble Olympics while we
Oh,
were talking about the
Henry and
Olympics.
I are
And
loving the Marble Olympics this
before you
year.
talk about the Marble Olympics, John, I want to tell the world that that was my idea for the topic for the beginning of Dear Hank and John today.
Let's
So
do it.
we're gonna go and record Dear Hank and John, and we're gonna talk about the Marble Olympics. So yeah, that's the thing that I wanted to discuss on the podcast. So I don't want to do it too much here. I don't want to spoil us and have us get out all of our Marble Olympics excitement.
I love it. We got to
Okay.
figure out. I don't know if you remember this, Hank. In 2014, I sold off my World Cup loyalty to charity,
Oh, interesting.
and I bought like I still have jerseys from like almost all of the countries. But
Yeah, I remember that.
I liked that strategy, but it ended up that I was rooting for all of the rich countries, because people in rich countries donated
Mm-hmm.
more, because of course, because they could. And I'm trying to think of like what is a way, how can we get Americans, and specifically Americans in Nerdfighteria, to care about the World Cup in the same way that they care about the Olympics, because it is such a magical bringing together moment. But without your country in it, it's kind of a bummer. So I'm trying to think of like maybe we pick a name out of a hat, maybe we go all in on Egypt.
Well,
I don't know.
what you want is a ranking. So you like this is how I operate with the Marble Olympics, not to talk too much about the Marble Olympics, but I pick like my team and then I pick like my two backups because it could be that my team's going to get knocked out pretty quick cuz there isn't a ton of skill that goes into the Marble Olympics for the individual marbles, but yeah, so it might be good to sort of like pick your number one, and then if that person gets knocked out, then you drop down to the next on the list. And I don't know how to rank that
Yeah.
except just randomly.
Okay. I mean, I'm
But
into
I
that.
like the idea. I like the idea, and I like the idea of like Nerdfighteria at least being like, we are going to be so excited about this team, and when Trinidad loses in the first round,
We've got a new team.
then
Don't worry.
we at least have a backup. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a power ranking all the way down. So as long as I actually don't think Trinidad made it into the World Cup, but as long as
Oh
Honduras
my
or
God.
like my friend,
Yeah.
my friend Daniel Alarcon, he's from Peru. As long as Peru is in the World Cup, like we are all Peruvian. Like we
Right.
love Peru. We,
We'd
we
like make a video
bleed
about Peru.
the red and
Just
white,
like,
whatever it
no,
is.
I like this. Like every time there's a new team, one of us has to make a video about that country and be
Yeah, you
like,
don't want
"Why
it to
is
be. You
Peru
don't want it to be.
great?"
You don't want it to be any kind of political or cultural appropriation. You just want it to be just love for the soccer
Yeah.
team, enthusiasm for the soccer team, and support for the soccer team in the form of buying jerseys, maybe in the form of getting their best players tattooed on your bicep. I don't know how far we should go.
Okay. I'm
Jesse, by the
I may
way,
not do any of those things
is
if that's
aiming to go to
okay.
the Paralympics in 2022. So that will be
Ooh.
awesome, and we will be watching, Jesse. So good luck.
Um,
Um,
when is the World
Hank,
Cup, John?
we should figure out if anybody has ideas for how to develop which team we should root for in the World Cup as a community. Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
4-track downhill skiing, Jesse. That sounds terrifying. Uh, I went skiing one time. It wasn't great. I didn't do really well. My Uncle Baxter, you guys, if you listen to the pod, you probably heard me reference Uncle Baxter a few times. Uncle Baxter put skis on me. I'd never had skis on in my entire life, and I was 31 maybe. And Uncle Baxter put
Mm-hmm.
skis on me and literally
Sure.
pushed me down a hill. And he said, "You'll just sort of start to feel it." That was the last thing he said to me as I took off down the hill for my one time skiing. You'll just sort of start to get the feel of it. And that is actually not what happened. What happened is that I went until I hit a tree.
Oh no, you didn't fall. You hit a tree.
Oh, I kind of leaned way backwards to try to fall, but then I was just sort of sledding.
Yeah, that doesn't actually do it. You want to fall to the side. That doesn't feel like you got a lot of
Yeah.
good information.
No, he didn't give me a great lesson, but as Kate pointed out in the chat, Uncle Bax did give me those great highball glasses, so still got those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I feel like I need to meet Uncle Baxter, which I still have not done.
yeah, I mean, should we pick the names out of a hat? The problem with picking the names out of a hat is you might end up with like France. Nobody wants to root for France.
Word? I don't really.
No, like
Why doesn't anybody
who
want to
could
root
get
for
excited
France?
about France or Germany or whatever? I know Sheridan's behind me; she's a huge German soccer fan, but like, I mean, you know, yeah, like you want to get excited about New Zealand or a soccer nation that isn't known for winning the World Cup every time. What? Oh, Rosiana suggested Mexico. You could have just as easily been suggesting England, for the record. Yeah, Mexico would be an interesting choice. England, even England, I think is a defensible choice. But like Germany, France, Spain, like you can't.
I do not understand what your deal is with supporting like one of the European,
Because
you know,
they win the World Cup all the time. It's not even a big like, oh, Spain won the World Cup.
oh,
Of
they win a
course,
lot.
fine. Germany wins the World Cup. Not I'm not surprised. I want a like I
Okay.
want you know what you know who I actually want to win the World Cup? Argentina. Argentina. I want Leo Messi to win the World Cup, the greatest player of his generation. I want him to win a World Cup. He won't, but I want him to. Anyway,
Okay. Well, I don't have any good ideas because you seem to have opinions about how some choices could be wrong, which I do not have. To me, every choice is equally correct.
Francesca says, "How about Italy, John? Except not this year, of course." It's a good point, Francesca. Italy would be a fine nation to support if only they were in the World Cup.
Oh, no.
Iceland's playing. They only have 300,000 people. We could double the size of the Icelandic support team.
Yeah, it's true. We could all be Icelanders.
Yeah, maybe. All right. I'm sorry that I have such strong opinions about France and Germany and Italy. I don't even know why. They're all nice places. I've been to all of them.
Yeah, they're too nice. They have too much already. They have
Yeah.
too much going for them. That's why I root for Detroit teams because I feel like, well, you've
Yeah,
got this, guys.
they've got some
Go
structural
Red
challenges.
Wings.
I don't feel that way about Iceland though. Like Iceland's a nation of 300,000 people that seems great. Things seem fine. I was there once and beer was $11, but other than that, it was lovely.
I'd like to go to Iceland, but I think instead I'll go to Maine.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to the Mountain Goat song "Going to Maine"?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's
Well,
so good.
probably. I probably have.
It's
I
so good.
probably
Let's
have
go to
then as
Maine
well.
out on the East Coast. Let's go to Maine right now. So good.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Well, I'd like to go to Maine. I think I need to go to
You
Maine to
know
do some book research. I'm gonna
what?
just look at some vacation rentals in Maine right now.
Are you thinking about ending the second book the way that I, John Green, recommended you end the second book?
I think that I'm thinking about including that. But
As
to
the
be clear, no, I will not end it in the John Green way, which is like, and then,
no,
no.
not the way that a John Green book would end. The way that I suggested in the van in the bus when we were talking about it.
To be clear, in my opinion, that way of ending the book is sort of like a John Green ending from my perspective.
Maybe a little bit, but no,
Like,
I don't know. No, not. I don't. I mean, look, we obviously we can't talk about spoilers for a second book when the first book isn't out. So we're not going to talk about it anymore. But I don't totally agree with you. But it's up to you, obviously.
oh, it's gonna be a little more tense than that, I think.
The critical. Oh, but like okay, but after the tense, after the isn't
Right.
there always a scene like in what's that movie where Matt Damon doesn't know his name?
What?
You know the
I
movie where
have
Matt
no
Damon
idea.
can't remember anything
Oh,
about
Jason
himself.
Bourne, the Bourne
Jason
Identity.
Bourne. Yeah, remember the Bourne Identity? Like at the
Yeah.
end, there's like tense, tension. It's on 5 continents.
Right.
You know, Matt Damon, he's hitting bad guys, he's shooting bad guys, he's driving over bad guys, and then things resolve, and then there has to be that moment of like resolution where you see, oh, this is
Right.
so you see like Matt Damon living on this, you know, deserted Greek island with the beautiful person that he met along the way, and you know, oh, it was all
Right.
worth it because Matt Damon got to meet this beautiful person, and now he lives on this fantastic island. Of course, the next movie has to begin
Okay.
with the death of that beautiful person, so that he can meet another beautiful person along the way of his new adventure.
Right.
But you're only writing
Yeah.
2 books, so you could, yeah. There's always a part after the tension. Is my point.
Well, I may have messed that up. At least for the. Anyway, well, no spoilers.
No spoilers. There's this the Mountain Goats lyric "Going to Maine." The critical lyric is this one. Someone knows what's going on. Someone knows, and someone's going to tell. Someone's going to wrap us up in styrofoam and mail us flat rate right down to hell. I love that. I love that. All right, we got to go record the pod. Thanks to everybody for for being Patreon of our pod. You guys are great.
You guys are great. Thank you.
Goodbye. DFTBA.
Goodbye.